Have you always been interested in art?
My grandfathers were passionate about art. One of my grandfathers was a painter at the time that I knew him. So it was sort of in my genes very much to be interested in painting and art. Dali was never one of my great favourites. I mean, I found him fascinating and extraordinary. And because we used to holiday a lot on the Costa Brava, I got to know that area of Spain and got to know the Dali Museum. We took our kids to the Dali Museum at Figueres, you know, and so I knew a lot about Dali, but I didn't know this story until Philippa came to me with it.
And were you interested in the work of Lorca prior to Little Ashes?
As a dramatist, yes. I didn't know his work as a poet, but yeah. I loved Lorca as a dramatist, and I knew his work quite well. But I didn't know him really as a poet before I started on the... And it's not as though I grew up with him, the way that if you're Spanish now, he's an icon. And it's like if you're English, it's Shakespeare. If you're Spanish, it's Lorca. I never knew him in that way. And I think that helped actually come to the film, because I think we came to it with a freedom that, and in a way an irreverence that if you were Spanish you couldn't do, you know, I think would be very difficult if you were Spanish.
Did you know much about Dali's relationship with Lorca before reading Philippa's screenplay?
No, I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about Dali and Lorca's relationship before reading the screenplay, and in fact, when I first got the screenplay and we started working together on it, I didn't want to know too much more than was in the screenplay, because my strategy then was, well, let's get the screenplay working as best as we can, you know. And Philippa's done the research, and I'll trust her on that. And I didn't really come to do my own research until after I felt the screenplay was working well. Otherwise, you get too hemmed in, if you like, by history, and the drama has to come first, and then you check your history, you know. And of course, because we're outsiders in a sense, coming to these, it was very, very important that we got our history right, and we checked everything very thoroughly.